into match number 1. It's Debre versus Leero. We've had a chance or pleasure to watch them a lot of times before, but even so, for some of the new viewers out there, Zito, just talk to me a bit about these players.
Of course, we have Debre here with a win rate of 65%, precision 59, average guess time 33. Debre is someone who got second place yesterday in the moving tournament that Jake Lyons hosted. A very, very strong player. But I've mentioned the win streak from Leero, the 4 matches win streak. Will Debre be able to take that from him?
Somewhat similar in guessing time, but 3 seconds on average with all the guesses they've coming through is actually quite a bit of difference. You can see they're sat close to each other on the leaderboard. 5 points currently separating the two. So this match is going to be a close one, or at least we would assume it to be, and we're going straight into it, right into round number 1 of game 1, and it's moving.
It is moving, and as I already said, Debre is a very, very strong moving player. He has very niche knowledge of town names, area codes, counties. A lot of knowledge to Debre, and all of that is important, especially in moving games.
Get a
Usually
big
get
bridge,
information.
Get some highway info. Yeah, good info for both of them to pinpoint approximately where they are here in round number 1. And again, I mean, I like to like to congratulate the new viewers who get here because they're always nice to have. So as you can see, 6,000 health, and damage will be multiplied over the rounds. So as you can see in the top right corner right now, the multiplier is 1.5. It will stack 0.5 every single round. So the later down the line we go, the more damage will come through, even when some of these players are real close to one another.
That is indeed how GeoGuessr duels work. You really have to never give up. We call it a multi-merchant. When you strike back on low health with the multis, it can happen.
Love to see it. The big comebacks. I played a duel earlier today. I was down to 90 health when my opponent hadn't taken any damage, and then I got a good guess in Russia, and he lost. And I was like, yes, the comeback.
Yeah, there's 2 types of players. There are players who are really happy about it, and there's players who really feel bad about it. But
no, you never feel bad. It's always feels good.
Let's see here. That's what I love to hear.
Exactly. Route number 2 comes to an end. Damage done in return here, Leero. Finally, I should say, 2 rounds in, getting things going. As we said, pretty evenly matched these 2 players. As we hear, ooh, okay, there's a what do you call it? A meta knowledge for the centuries. The meta knowledge being Ghana tape.
The Ghana tape, the very first clue you should learn. Very strong clue all over the country. In Ghana.
Why don't we have a Ghana tape emote on the GeoGuessr channel? Like, that's gotta be the most iconic piece of meta knowledge.
I have definitely seen it on some channels, on some GeoGuessr channels.
There's gotta be the official Ghana tape emote.
But yeah, we do need it.
But then other metas will feel like they're being cheated on because Ghana, I don't know, maybe it becomes too dangerous. All of a sudden we need 2,000 emotes for all meta knowledge there is out there. We need 1 of each pole as emotes. Maybe that's a bit too much. But into round 4 we go. Even the score, so at least somewhat. What are you thinking of this one?
Yeah, we are back in Brazil. We seem to have an area code there on Debre's screen. It's hidden by his map right now. I can't really make it out, but I will assume it is 12 based on where he guessed. No, it's Rio de Janeiro actually. It's 20 something then. But we will see.
Ooh, there you go. First 5k of the day. You saw Debre was actually pretty satisfied with his guess just south thereof, but then spotted the city itself on his screen, clicked up there, and that, my friends, is as big of a score as you can get in a single round. Solid 5k here for Debre to get us into round 5.
That is solid indeed. I mean, with an area code, a lot of players in this World League will have the rough region, but players like Debre will pinpoint it down like that immediately. And now we are in India. We have them both in the Karnataka state, which is known to have trident poles. So I don't know if we had them. That's always a pretty good clue for Karnataka.
And side by side here, even, that's the issue, right? Because even when Leero is close and Debre 5Ks, it's like, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, I can barely even get any closer. And they are close to one another again as we get into an Olympic stadium. Okay, so any Olympic experts? Maybe there's, I was gonna say, Nakano, you get a lot of info very quickly in this round.
There, yes, and Debre got to that information, whereas Leero didn't really look on the... No, he didn't look at the writings on the stadium.
It was right there.
So he passed that one.
And that's, of course, the issue with moving, is that sometimes one guy goes down one direction, the other guy goes in the other. And then it's up to who to get the best info. I mean, you gotta say, Debre got the best info you possibly could when you literally get the massive city name right there.
Yep, it can be an issue, but at the same time, that's really testing your skills in the moving format. Because that is something moving players will always check. If you are at a stadium or something like that, a sports park, there's usually some information on it.
Yeah.
And knowing that does help, of course.
For sure.
So we go back to the UK. And once again, look at that. Another 4999 from Debre. He's just on it.
I respect Leero for trying to put pressure on, but Debre is just not having it at all. He is cool as a cucumber. Nothing's gonna stress him out. And now it's on Leero to try and strike back here. Down to 1,000 once again. Trying to play it quickly here, going on the very border of Kazakhstan and Russia.
Yes, Omsk is the standard guess you have in Russia when it's very flat and very green like this. It's really all around that area. They will both pick it up, of course. Leero getting a little bit closer there, just clicking downtown.
And now is when it's getting scary, because we headed into round number 9. After round 10, if no one is down to 0 health, it's the player who has the most health left. That is the round limit, is 10 rounds. So Leero now needs to either, I mean, of course, get Debre to 0, which would be convenient for him, or make sure that by the end of the next round, Debre is below 1153, which right now does not seem very likely.
It's not looking good for Leero. We have a Turkey guess. This is not Turkey.
Uh-oh.
Definitely not. I wasn't sure if it's Serbia or North Macedonia.
Regardless, though,
it's
the
one
fact
of
that
the
he's
two,
closer.
That will definitely be game.
Yeah, multiplies. You can see Debre there. A brief moment of surprise. Even Leero's like, wait, what? How did I misread that one? But it happens again. I mean, he's playing with all kinds of pressure against him, and that's going to be Debre winning out game number 1. Incredible performance as we speedrun. We skip past the webcams and get ourselves straight into game number 2. Now, as you said before in the explain, Angelo, just it's no move. It's spinning around, zooming in and out, but you are stuck in position.
That is exactly how it works. Yeah, Leero isn't really to blame on that last game. He had to put the pressure on somehow. Debre was just on it, on almost every single round. Therefore, it does happen, but now they will have the same information. You don't need to worry about your opponent getting to a better sign than you or not. We'll both see the same stuff. And we have them both guessing further east in Russia. One guess closer to Abakan, one southwest of Kizil. Not too far from each other for Russia standards. But Leero, a bit closer there, picking up 668 damage.
That's the thing, right? I mean, this round with multipliers in the previous one could have won Leero the game, but not quite the case. He's going to have to try and strike back now, and good start for him. Getting 300 or 600 health, I should say, off of Debre.
Indeed, and we are in Leero's home country here. We are in Australia. You either hate to see it or you love to see it. If it's
like if
your
you're
own
Leero, you have to be
country,
pretty
because yeah, unless you don't know where it is,
it's true.
It's always a bad feeling if you are wrong or clueless on your own country. But
Both
ideally,
going
he should have a
south.
rough area. They're both somewhat in between Victoria and New South Wales here. Debre a bit more to the east, Leero a bit more to the west. It shouldn't really be any points. It's just 38 damage.
Practically as tight as can be. Set on each their side of the right marker. Makes good sense. That tanks would be tied up Down there in the south, as we go south once more this time, Debre instantly hops to Sri Lanka. What's the Sri Lanka tell in this round? Because they're both there very quickly.
Yes, it's the car.
Okay.
You have the blue, white, red stripe on the front of the car in Sri Lanka, and that's specific to Sri Lanka. Nowhere else to be seen. Sometimes it can be a bit more hidden, sometimes it's a bit more exposed, the front of the car. But in this case it was very clear. We also had the yellow license plates. Those tuk-tuks, lots of clues, and we are back in Australia.
Australia again? You have to imagine that, I mean, of course, Australia is a massive country, so even if you're from there, it doesn't mean that you've necessarily seen every road there is to see. But you have to imagine that Leero is getting some sort of advantage here, hopefully for him. We'll see if he can make use of it.
Yeah, Australia is a country that gets a lot of Street View updates. You have so many new roads. Just looking back the last 3 or 4 months, it's so much stuff updating, new roads getting added to the game, and therefore there's just so much more to learn. So many more 50-50s you could miss. These areas can look alike a lot of times, especially in Australia.
Leero trying to line up the road here. I mean, Debre was on the exact same road just a second ago, but he flaked a little bit further to the east before putting down his marker. Should have gone west instead, though. Both of them over 1,000 kilometers off, and of course, I mean, since they're equally far apart, it's not really going to amount into a lot of damage, but this is going to be one of those rounds that both of them are going to think back on, depending on who wins or loses, to like, oh, that's the round where I could have done it. That's the round where I could have had him. Because it's very rare to see those, like, two players of this caliber both get this far from the right location.
Yeah, that does happen a lot in Australia. The one in northwestern Australia looks very diverse, and it can look like so many other roads. It's like always a little bit hard to commit there because you're so far away from all the other coverage. Looking at this round, we are in Turkey. Now we are, and both players know it, we have the chevron.
Yep.
We have the bollards. We have everything. It looks pretty dry, the arid. Not that many trees. That puts you more towards the east.
Whose guess are you liking more here?
like
Leero, very
Malat,
far southeast, or Debre further north?
It shouldn't be far north and it shouldn't be far south either.
Okay.
So somewhere in between.
Right in between
Maybe
the two.
a little bit more to the west. Yeah.
And there you go. That's exactly it. Good call on that one. We get the GeoGuessr's home field advantage there as Debre finally able to put a dent in the health bar of Leero, taking him down actually below him now at 4,400, coming into round number 6.
We do, and we are in Peru now. We have those black and yellow stripes on the guardrail. You see in a couple countries, but combined with the double yellow here, the Gen 4 camera quality, we have that tuk-tuk in front of us, which you also see in Peru. It is pretty green, therefore we should be more inland, more towards the Amazonas.
I like Peru for being very diverse in its landscape, but also having a very clear line of, okay, this is where there is literally no trees at all, and this is where all the trees are, instead of having it be mixed all over the place. Yep. If it's coastal, not so many trees. If inland, more the other way around us. Debre gets his guess in once again, though, around where they're both off by quite the margin.
Yep, I was about to say it is easy to tell how far inland you are in Peru, but it's still such a long stretch.
Exactly.
Where areas can still look alike, whether you are just down southeast or northeast.
Round number 7, 4 times multiplier. Debre, from being unable to do any damage to Leero for 6 rounds, now finds himself at almost twice the health here in round number 7, as he's looking to go towards Irkutsk. What are you thinking here, GeoGuessr?
Yeah, they are probably using the vegetation here. We have some birch trees, which is commonly found a bit further east into the country in Russia. And but given how hilly it is, I mean, it's a bit hard to tell because we have trees all around us, but you can still tell there's some terrain going on. And that is very, very common around the Lake Baikal there.
Let's see, Debre is going to commit to the south side of the water. Leero is almost there next to him. Now considering to swing further towards the west, has 3 seconds to second guess himself. Is he going to commit? A little bit of a micro readjustment there in the end. And And, well, should have committed a bit further towards that west side. That could have potentially helped him out. 1,300 damage. Now you can see, even though they're only 100 kilometers apart, those multipliers make things very, very dangerous. Now Leero is looking at potentially falling 2-0 here.
That's what happened as we go. Or we have Samar Colleges. Does that mean we are on Samar Island? In the Philippines. We have Debre on it. They are both on Samar Island. Yep.
Now the issue is again,
somewhat close. I mean, we have the coastline.
Yeah.
As well, so we should be on that side of Samar Island. They both end up there, pretty close to each other. Not much happening on this round.
That's the issue for Leero right now. I mean, similar situation to the previous game where he is so far behind with only 2 rounds left to play. He really needs, well, I mean, essentially Debre to make a slip up or just get the perfect 5k in very, very quickly. And I don't think this is the country where that might happen. Or, having said that, maybe Chile is a challenge for Debre today. We'll see.
It could be, but in this case, yeah, it is very deserty, sandy deserty, but we are on 5 times damage. So therefore, it's still a long span in that.
Was that a Peruvian flag in the distance as well?
I saw a Chilean flag, but I did not see a Peruvian flag.
You have the Chile flag there, and then further behind, it could be right on the border.
Could be.
Or maybe they just have
pick
a
it
flag.
up. It can. Maybe some embassy. I don't know, but yeah, it could be.
It was right on the border. Okay, I thought I saw a flag there in the distance, but again, I mean, 200 kilometers here. Had Leero been on point, that could have been a huge dent onto Debre, which unfortunately neither of them dared to commit to. And now, Japan, but no clear eyes on antennas. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, we have those red tiled roofs, which are indeed commonly found in the area where Debre clicked. It's Chugoku. It's an area of Japan where you commonly see them, not necessarily, but very common. Besides that, we trying to make out these pole attachments.
So what do you do if you're Leero here? Like, how, if Debre is already in the right region, how in the world do you remove 3,000 health from him? You need to line up the 5k. The issue is you have 15 seconds to do it. Leero hasn't even opened the map yet.
Yeah, I mean, given that, I would assume maybe Leero will also end up in the same area.
Yeah.
And if
not,
he's
committing
then he's probably trying something, but yeah.
Gotta gamble. I think even if he had 5k at this one, it wouldn't have been enough damage to get him down below him. So nice try, but Debre reigns supreme, able to get himself a 2-0 victory. But you can't really fault Leero too much outside of the turkey guess in Serbia, I believe it was, in that previous game. They're really